I get it, you're staring at a bunch of red light panels on Amazon and wondering if any of them are actually worth the money, especially when you've already spent a few dollars on a fancy water bottle that you never use. You've probably heard the hype about boosting collagen or speeding up recovery, but you're also aware that a lot of this stuff feels more like a wellness buzzword than a real solution. So before you click add to cart, let's walk through what it's like to have a 7-wavelength, $8.99 LED panel in a typical home setting and see if it matches the promise. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the panel's biggest selling point is the range of wavelengths. It covers everything from 630 nanometers, which sits in the visible red spectrum, all the way up to 1060 nanometers deep near-infrared. In practice, that means you're not stuck choosing between red for skin or infrared for muscle. You get a blend that can be tweaked depending on what you're targeting that day. If you're the type who likes to switch between a post-workout recovery routine and a nightly skincare session, that flexibility can actually save you the hassle of buying two separate devices. Setting it up is surprisingly straightforward. The panel comes on a wheeled stand that rolls like a small cart, so you can push it from the living room to the bedroom without much effort. All you need is a power outlet within a few feet, and the stand's base is sturdy enough that it doesn't wobble when you sit or stand in front of it. I've found the sweet spot for most users is about an arm's length away, roughly 2 to 3 feet, where the light still penetrates the recommended 2040 mm depth but doesn't feel blinding. The stand also makes it easy to store the panel upright when you're not using it, which is a nice bonus if space is at a premium. The control panel is where the real-world usability comes into play. You get 5 brightness levels, a constant mode and a pulse mode, and a timer that you can set anywhere from 10 to 90 minutes. In my testing, the pulse mode felt a little gentler on the eyes, which is helpful if you're doing a longer skincare session and don't want to stare at a steady glow. The timer is a simple but effective safeguard. You can set it for, say, 20 minutes for a quick muscle recovery after a run, and the device shuts off automatically, so you don't have to keep checking the clock. That's one of those practical strengths that often gets overlooked in marketing copy. Now, let's talk about actual use cases. I've been using it for 3 weeks as part of a post-leg day routine. After a heavy squat session, I sit about a foot away, crank the brightness to level 3, switch to the 810 nanometers and 850 nanometers settings, and run a 10-minute pulse session. The heat isn't intense, but there's a subtle warmth that seems to ease the tightness in my quads. I can't claim it eliminates soreness entirely, but the recovery feels a notch quicker than when I skip the light. On the skin side, I've tried a nightly 15-minute session with the 630 nanometers and 660 nanometers wavelengths, focusing on the jawline. Over 2 weeks, the skin looks a shade smoother and the occasional fine line appears less pronounced. Again, it's not a miracle cure, but the change is noticeable enough that I keep it in my routine. What you don't get is a one-size-fits-all shortcut. The panel's power is high enough to be comparable with professional-grade equipment, but that also means it can be overkill for someone just dabbling in red light therapy for a few minutes a week. If you're looking for a cheap, occasional wellness toy, the price point might feel steep, and you could end up underusing it, which dilutes any benefit. On the flip side, athletes, frequent gym goers, or people dealing with chronic skin concerns who are ready to commit to regular sessions will likely see a better return on their investment. The adjustable intensity also helps you avoid the burnout feeling that some users report with lower quality panels that lack dimming options. A few practical drawbacks are worth mentioning. The panel's dimensions are roughly that of a small TV, so you'll need a dedicated spot where it won't be in the way. The stand does roll, but you still have to be mindful of where the cord reaches. It's not exactly a cordless device, so you'll be tethered to an outlet. Another nuance is the learning curve with the wavelength switches. The remote doesn't label each color explicitly. You have to remember which button corresponds to which nanometer range, which can be confusing at first. A quick cheat sheet on your phone can solve that, but it's an extra step you might not anticipate. If you're wondering whether this is a safe purchase, the rating on Amazon sits at 4.6 out of 5 from 184 reviewers, which suggests that most people are satisfied with the results.